What if I told you, Corey Clark, that about 6 weeks ago, we were here, right here.
Feeling good.
And the Florida State football team shocked the world, knocked off a top 10 Alabama team. And then about 3 or 4 weeks ago, they improved to 3-0. And again, not great competition those next 2 games, but you're still feeling really good. And now here we are. Florida State loses for the 3rd game in a row. They lose to Pitt 34-31, a team with a freshman starting quarterback. Really just is disappointing a game. I'm going to say this is up there with the in the long line of disappointing losses Mike Norvell has had. I think this is right up there. 34-31 at home to Pitt in a game you had to have, and they lost.
Yeah, and you're up 21-14 at half. You felt kind of fortunate to be up 21-14 at half. I mean, you throw essentially a Hail Mary to Landon Thomas to get you that score right before half, and then you take advantage of it by going 3 and out on the first drive of the second half and then giving up an 85-yard touchdown drive, or maybe it was 75. I think it was 85.
I think it was 85.
Culminating with your defensive end leaping uncontrollably as a true freshman, pump fakes him out of his lane, and then finds Desmond Reed in the back of the end zone. An unblocked defensive end, by the way. There aren't many D1 teams in the country with an unblocked defensive end that end up having a 19-yard touchdown thrown against them. It's all disappointing. All disappointing.
You touched on, I think, what is really a theme of this team and a theme of this program right now. No.
Oh.
The fact that you're up by a touchdown at halftime.
Yeah.
Fortunately.
Remember they were up by a touchdown against Virginia, too.
That's what I was going to say. You're up by a touchdown at halftime. You get the ball to start second half. And on top of that, Pitt, because of the crazy sequence at the end of the first half where we thought the half was over twice, but it wasn't, and then ultimately Pitt gets a face mask penalty on the last play, for real last play of the first half. So you get the ball basically around midfield with
43-yard line.
with a 7-point lead, and you do nothing. And it was very similar to the Virginia game where you had a lead, and if you have a chance to maybe put some pressure on Virginia, you're up 21-14 in the first half, got some pressure, a chance to put some game pressure on Virginia and their young quarterback, or not young quarterback, their inexperienced quarterback in that new offense there, Virginia. You don't do it. They take control of the game. Same thing here. This team, for whatever reason, and ultimately it's Mike Norvell's the reason, this team on offense does not put teams away, and defense just does not get stops when they have to get them, and that's how you lose 3 straight games.
Here's the thing with this game. They're all their own entities, man. This game, it is excusable that the offense looked like that in the second half because you didn't have Deuce, you didn't have Randy Pittman, you didn't have Squirrel White, you didn't have your left tackle. There was a Boggs.
All right, now talk about the defense.
But no, that's what I'm saying. But also you don't get. Sometimes good teams have the other side rise up, much like the 2023 team did when that offense did nothing for the last 2 games. The defense still found a way to win, and also you don't get the benefit of the doubt when it comes to an excuse like that when you are 1-10 in your last 11 conference games. You had receivers for the other ones. So just because, yes, this was a bad luck, I think they're going to put up 45 points if Deuce and Squirrel are playing. I just think the way the game was going, the plays were there to be made.
I think the first couple throws that were to Deuce Robinson ended up pass interference calls.
Yes, right. Yeah. But then you lose that element. You coach like you don't have any receivers until the game is out of reach, and then all of a sudden Mekhi Danzy's on the team again. But, yeah, man, it doesn't matter because this is one loss of many losses. Right. It's not just one out of your last 15. It's 3 in a row. It's the 6th 3-game losing streak he's had in his career, Ira. This is in my column. I'm going to give you all a little tidbit. Go read it, though. Florida State, since 1981, has had 10 losing streaks of at least 3 games. 10 in 44 years. Mike Norvell is now responsible for 6 of them. Don't puke, but that's the truth. 6 out of the 10 are his. And he's the only one that's had more than a 3-game losing streak, and he's had 2 of them. And who knows when this thing's going to end. Right. I mean, they got a road game now, and they might not have any scholarship receivers. Who knows? It's such a bummer because you felt so good about things, the way it did look at the start of the season, and then it's turned to another just stuck in the mud. And the column I wrote, what we'll be talking about, every fan asks me, should he be fired? Is he going to be fired? I don't know. You are just stuck in a wave of mediocrity right now, man. Not even mediocre. You're bad. Yeah, you're 1-10 in your last 11 ACC games.
Yeah, this game, even more than the last 2 losses, felt like 2024 again. You don't play smart.
Yes.
You make silly mistakes. Yep. You have personal fouls. I mean, we love Deuce Robinson. Yep. I think he's been the MVP of this team maybe over the first half of the season. But the personal foul he gets down there after a play was crazy.
And look, he's getting grabbed by the throat. We get it, Deuce. We get it. And you pushed him off you. Don't then slap his helmet right in front of the referee.
And he didn't even slap him for any reason. It was almost like a tap on the head. It was
didn't even get his money's worth.
Yeah, exactly.
Like, yank him by the face mask, and if you're going to get 15 yards, use it.
But it was fitting then the game to basically be ended on a defensive. Daryl Jackson jumps off sides in a game where
and Justin Cryer, like two of your vets.
Yeah, exactly. And they've had that happen before. And again, it feels like it's spiraling. And you said earlier, every game's its own entity, and that's what Mike Norvell tried to say after the game, because I asked him, you said after you lost to the first game you guys lost this season to Virginia that this team's not like last year. It's not going to spiral. Yeah. Well, now you've lost 3 straight games. What's going to turn this around? And he basically went to the same thing as you said. It's different issues every week. But isn't it overall the same issue? They do not play winning football. They're not good. And they can't overcome their deficiencies because they don't look like they're coached very well.
Also, and I'm not trying to take a shot at Deontay McCray. That touchdown's a huge play. It's 3rd and long. He's unblocked. He's a defensive end at Florida State that's unblocked with a true freshman quarterback. He gets basically abused by one little pump fake to give them 7 points. And it's like, okay, that's not Norvell's fault that McCray looked like that. That's not his fault that he made that play. It's his fault that he's on the team. Well, it's his fault that you had to go get a kid from Western Kentucky.
But he's not
because,
the only
because
he's not the only
recruiting.
How many guys did they have in that same situation, whether it's Blake Nicholson or him or Desir?
Or A.J. Cottrell. Yeah. It's not A.J. Cottrell's fault that he can't cover Desmond Reed or Elijah Herring's fault that he can't cover Desmond Reed. Right. Who can? It's Mike Norvell's fault that this is the roster, especially on defense. Right. That they have, and it's just like, man, I don't know. There's some severe limitations to what they have on the front 7. That all goes back to the head coach, in my opinion.
There are some limitations, man, but there's also fundamentals of football. Right. There was one point in the second half. I think it was in the second half. It might have been late first.
It sounds like you're arguing with me, and I feel like we're both.
Well, you're pointing to the lack of ability. You're pointing to a different problem.
Yes,
the lack of talent.
Right.
And I'm saying
you're coming over the top with another problem.
You don't need to have talent to know how to break down and make a tackle. I mean, they look like they've never done that before, and they go in practice. The quarterbacks they go up against are Tommy Castellanos, who allegedly can really run. We've seen it earlier, although he does not want to anymore. Kevin Sperry, who's very athletic. Brock Glenn, who's pretty athletic for a quarterback.
Yep. He's as athletic as that kid.
They look like they have no idea what to do when they get a shot on the quarterback. They're either running full speed right by him, or they're totally off balance. And it's not like that quarterback is athletic enough, but it's not like he was –
he's
Michael
essentially
Vick out there.
No, I was about to say
getting past one guy, and then there's nothing for 30 yards.
I would argue with you there. To me, he looks like a white Lamar Jackson.
Yeah, that's.
You do agree?
Yeah, no, not at all.
Okay. I thought I was watching a right-handed white Lamar Jackson out there.
Not
Am I not?
Not at all.
Oh, okay. That's weird then, because he put up numbers like Lamar Jackson. Yeah. And what was so after the McCray play, you pointed out Norvell might have talked to some assistant coaches about his anger with that approach to trying to tackle the quarterback. In a couple of possessions later, they actually did do a good job of corralling him. They got an intentional grounding. They made him throw one that almost was another one. They got a couple of sacks. But when the game's on the line and you need to stop, what do you know? He rips off in the middle of the field a 30-yard scramble. I mean, come on. You got to get the ball back, and you're letting that kid beat you with a 30-yard scramble up the middle of the field. And, of course, Earl Little comes and does a great job punching the ball out. And, of course, it goes right to the Pitt receiver for an extra 8 yards.
They also have some terrible luck. But,
how about getting a coach that's lucky then, Ira? Are there some of those out there? Go find a lottery winner and see if he wants to coach football. Like at some point, and I wrote that in the column. Like, yes, they were a little bit unlucky. They got Desmond Reed back this week. Couldn't sit him out another week. They did lose their receivers. They lost Randy Pittman, and that fumble did happen. And there was another fumble that they couldn't recover that the Pitt guy jumped on. But it's not unlucky that you can't stop 4th and short. Right. It's not unlucky that they keep getting 4th and short because you're so bad on 3rd down stopping them. It's not unlucky that Deontay McCray can't make that play. Right. Deontay McCray is here because you didn't recruit well enough to not have to go get a kid from Western Kentucky. And I'm not trying to just disparage Deontay McCray, but it's like when you don't recruit at the level you need to on the line of scrimmage, you're left with maybe players that aren't great. But as you're pointed out, even if you aren't great, if you're not Jared Verse, you can still play smart and fundamental.
Yeah, and from a coaching standpoint, again, you look at this game, last week, again, Tony White got credit for stopping the run, but then you gave up a lot of big passes. this is a game where Desmond Reed did come back. There was expectation that he was going to come back.
Mike Norvell said he was expecting him to play.
And
Didn't look like it, though.
I mean, it was almost like they didn't know who he was.
Was he wearing a different number? Have we checked into that? What did he wear earlier in the season?
8 catches for like 155 yards, 2 touchdowns.
45 yards rushing, 200 yards of total offense.
And you're asking
by their best
player.
player.
Elijah Herring to cover him in man. I mean, there's just so many things that don't make any sense with what they're doing defensively. So it's not just the lack of ability. It doesn't look like they have a coherent plan. And then also they don't make plays when they have to. Again, you're in situations where you just need a stop. On the first drive of the game, 3 fourth downs, and you can't get a stop on any of them, including there's one drive.
34, but they're the first drive of the game. They have 4th and 1 at the 34. They're like, we're going for it. We're not giving them the ball right now, and they got it easily.
I think on that drive there's a 3rd and 12. Quarterback picks up 11 yards, and they convert the 4th down. I mean, this defense just can't get off the field. And now that's basically
9-minute drive to start the game, by the way.
It's basically 3 weeks in a row because you go back to Virginia. Virginia has a huge game offensively. Then Miami had 28 points at the end of the 3rd quarter. They basically shut it down in the 4th quarter offensively. I don't think they totally shut the game down, but they weren't doing as much as they would have if they didn't have a 2-score lead. And then this game against a freshman quarterback who never looked like a freshman, you can't get off the field. They scored four of their 5 drives in the second half.
I thought he did look like a freshman. I think he had a couple. He had a bad interception in the end zone. He had the grounding. He took a couple sacks they didn't need to take. He made some bad throws to guys open in the flat.
He had freshman moments.
It felt like he wanted to kind of melt down, and you didn't let him. It's 21-14. He's just thrown a back-breaking interception. You come out, you put a score on them there where they're down 2 scores. It might be a wrap. Probably not the way this team plays, but it could have been a wrap. And instead, he goes down the field. You leave somebody wide open for like a 30. Though it's the middle of the field, man. It's going to be open for like a 30-yard play. He sees them, and they go down and score the touchdown, and then you're game on. And you didn't have the weapons, I don't think, to come back, especially if Tommy's not going to run. And you ask him about it. He said he's fine. He's a little banged up, whatever. But he's like he doesn't feel like he needs to run because he's got so many weapons. And I'm like, man, Tariq Mallory was out there with you, man. No offense to him. He might be a very good player. That's how down on the depth chart you were. A true freshman that we think is going to redshirt, that had not played any real snaps at all this year, was having to play meaningful minutes in a tie game in an ACC.
Yeah, the receiving core that was out there for most of the second half was not what you would expect. They were without Squirrel White. They were without Javen Boggs and Deuce Robinson and Randy Pittman. And, there were limitations offensively.
And Salchuk only got a few carries in the second half for some reason.
Right. And so that's all there, and that's fine. But, again, like you don't play if Tommy Castellanos isn't hurt, and I don't believe that. He said he's fine.
He's 100% hurt.
He's clearly hurt. Yeah. I mean, he would not. How many of the runs in the second half they just ran up the middle time and time again because he clearly didn't feel comfortable keeping it. And, you're looking at an offense where if he can't run, this offense is going to be in trouble, especially without those wide receivers.
Without wide receivers, yeah. I mean, the offense would have been – I just think the offense was doing fine. They had 21 points in the first half, and Deuce drew 2 PIs. It was just – and Danzy, man, by the way, we need to talk about him a little bit. What is that guy going to be? Well, come on now. You hope he's here.
It's hard to focus on it.
Yeah, I know, but like in there. Yeah. Okay, so you have a Danzy. I think Pittman's a good football player. Deuce is a good football player. I think Gus knows what he's doing. I don't think they have the requisite skill on the defensive side of the ball to be a great football team. I think they could, if they were healthy, they could have a great offense. They're still putting up 431 points. That's fine. They're losing games. I get it. What you ask yourself, though, and the reason I bring all this up, what is this thing going to be in November? What's it going to be this week against Stanford? But then what's it going to be in November? Is there a chance, Ira, where if they get healthy, they can at least win 1 or 2 of these road games in November against Florida and Clemson and NC State?
Yeah, I think the overarching question right now is, I think the fan base is checked out. Largely, there are very few people right now who still believe Mike Norvell can turn this around. I'm not sure how you come back from this either. And you look at the remaining schedule, they do have to go to the road at Stanford. All these games that we thought maybe 2 weeks ago all looked winnable and they could run the table. Instead, now all just about seem losable. Yes. If you play like you did defensively in this game, you literally can lose every game remaining on the schedule. The question is, can he get these guys even somewhat back on track? I mean, we asked Mike Norvell after the game if he feels like, again, is this sliding the same way as last year? He insists he didn't see guys check out.
He said it wasn't a carry. He didn't think it was a carryover from last year.
But he also said that last year, every time we asked him last year, he's like, I haven't seen any signs of the guys pushing back. Well, man, they never turned it around. And so it's hard to believe they're going to turn around this time. what makes you believe? What would make anybody believe that they're going to turn it around over these next 7 games?
False hope.
6 games.
False hope.
That's all you got.
False hope and delusion.
Yeah.
I guess I don't know. Like again, he's whatever. It's a 6-3 game losing streak. They win at Stanford. Great. That's not a gimme by any means anymore. What is? You come home and beat Wake. Again, not a gimme. You're 5-3 going to Clemson. Yeehaw. You might still get to 7 or 8 wins, but nobody believes in this guy right now. Nobody believes. It's another 3-game losing streak in the middle of a flipping season, 2 of which at home, 2 to pretty good teams, but not teams that are better than you. Certainly not teams that have more resources than you. They're not paying their coordinators what you're paying your coordinators. So, as a Florida State fan, and more importantly, I guess, as the administration, where do you go from here? Because you desperately, desperately want this to succeed. You desperately want it to. But now you have to be asking yourself, is there any chance that it will? Because as we talked about, last year is last year. But it's the same. It feels a lot like last year it starts to mount up. Right. And his teams have a history of spiraling. Wow, since he's been at Florida State. 1 loss becomes 2, becomes 3. It happens all the time. He's 8-18 now coming off a loss at Florida State. Number one, 26 losses in 5.5 years is way too much. But 1 loss always becomes 2 here.
Or 3 or more.
Or 3 or more. And that is a real problem because this is a guy that all he does is preach response. Right. That should be that's an edict. It's a tenet of his program, and they do not respond at all. They turn 1 loss into 3 like it's their job.
I got to apologize to Aslan.
Okay.
I didn't mention it was a Vitamin Energy Warchant WRAP.
They want to stay away from this one. Well,
everybody,
look,
they can see it
here. They can see right here.
Wearing the logo, Vitamin Energy. VitaminEnergy.com is the website. Go there. The promo code is Warchant BOGO. All the vitamin energy you want.
It's not just that they walked right behind us. They almost rubbed shoulders with us.
Aslan told him it was okay.
But I mean, you could go around, like there's a goalpost you could have walked around, but they almost rubbed shoulders with us. That's fine. Hey, they're Noles. I assume they're Noles.
They know this is going to be a big hit in Virginia, in Pittsburgh. There's going to be a lot of Pittsburgh fans watching this.
There aren't any. That's another thing, Ira. There aren't a lot of Pittsburgh fans. Yeah. You saw how many people were here. They were all football players, parents. That's it. And Virginia doesn't care. None of those fans even remember that game. Meanwhile, these people are living, breathing, and dying with this team, and they keep losing.
Mostly dying right now.
To teams that don't care as much and aren't as good as them. And it's frustrating. But it's not Vitamin Energy's fault. I shouldn't have done that. And look at this. The bottle stays intact. The bottle stays intact even when you slam it down. That's Vitamin Energy for you.
Unlike the Florida State defense.
Yes, correct.
VitaminEnergy.com is the website. Warchant POGO is the promo code. Check them out. We'll have plenty more coverage at Warchant.com. Corey's column is already up. Will be up on the site by the time you read this.
Scorched earth, Ira. Scorched earth.
That's what we want to see. Florida State falls to 3-3 on the season. They've lost 3, and you can bring up all the losses in a row to the ACC.
It's fine.
We're not pushing back on that at all this week.
Good call, Ira. 1-10 in the last 11.
And more coverage at Warchant.com.